In the buzzing heart of London, the grand auditorium of World's Got Talent shimmered beneath thousands of lights. Cameras rolled, producers whispered, and an audience of nearly 2,000 people waited in restless anticipation. The judges, known across the world for their wit and savagery, sat poised behind their sleek glass desk. At the center was Samuel Crowe, the British judge notorious for his brutal honesty, icy glare, and impossibly high standards. Every performer both feared and dreamed of impressing him. To his left sat Melanie Grace, the cheerful American pop star who loved everyone's dreams, and to his right, David Quinn, the lovable comedian who always lightened the tension with jokes. Tonight, the stage would host a stream of dancers, singers, magicians, and comedians from across the world. But none of them knew that one unassuming young man from the Philippines would soon turn the entire night upside down. Chapter 1. The Man from Manila. Backstage, Paulo de Guzman clutched a dented microphone in one hand and his worn-out sneakers squeaked slightly on the floor. He was 27, lanky, and nervous. His faded jeans and oversized shirt made him look like someone who had just stepped out of a small-town comedy bar in Quezon City, which, in truth, he had. Contestant number 1983, you're next. A producer called. Paulo swallowed hard. Salamat po, he whispered softly, his accent heavy and musical. This was his chance, his one shot. Back home, he had worked odd jobs, selling balut at night, driving a tricycle by day, and performing stand-up in smoky bars whenever he could. His mother's tiny sari store barely kept the family afloat. He had entered World's Got Talent after a friend uploaded his video online without even telling him. When the show sent him an email inviting him to London, he thought it was spam. It wasn't. Now, standing in the wings, the roar of the audience felt like a mountain he had to climb. He glanced at a small photo of his mother tucked inside his wallet. For you, Ma, he whispered. If they laugh, at least it means I made them happy. Chapter 2. The Entrance. Next up, the announcer's deep voice boomed, please welcome, Paulo de Guzman, all the way from the Philippines. The curtain rose, and Paulo stepped into the bright lights. For a moment, he was blinded. The crowd clapped politely. He waved awkwardly, gripping the mic like it was a life raft. Samuel Crowe leaned forward slightly, expression unreadable. He tapped his pen on the desk. Hello there, Melanie greeted warmly. What's your name? Ah, hello Po. My name is Paulo, he said nervously, his voice trembling slightly. I'm from Manila, Philippines. Welcome, Paulo, David chimed in. What are you going to do for us tonight? Paulo scratched his head. I am a comedian, sir. Samuel's eyebrow rose. A comedian, he repeated in his smooth British tone. Brave choice. We've had questionable ones this season. A few laughs rippled through the audience. Paulo smiled sheepishly. Yes, sir. I know, Filipino jokes, maybe you not understand all, but I try my best. Samuel smirked. We'll see about that. The stage is yours. The lights dimmed slightly. Paulo took a deep breath, eyes scanning the silent crowd. His heart pounded. He had no fancy props, no music, just words, timing, and hope. Chapter 3. The First Laugh. He began quietly. You know, in the Philippines, we have only 2 seasons, hot and extra hot. Even our chickens are already roasted before we cook them. The crowd chuckled politely. Encouraged, Paulo continued. My British friend told me, Paulo, the weather here is lovely, sunshine and rain in one day. I said, in my country, we call that Tuesday laundry day. The laughter grew louder. He moved with surprising rhythm, his voice animated, his accent adding an endearing charm. His timing, sharp, instinctive, won over the audience minute by minute. Then came his story about working different jobs. I once worked as a karaoke assistant. I press, next song, for 5 hours. I hear, my heart will go on, 27 times. My heart did not go on. Even Samuel Crowe, stoic, expressionless Samuel, let out a soft chuckle. Paulo noticed. His eyes lit up. Sir, did you just laugh? Oh no, I think I win already. The crowd roared. Samuel shook his head, hiding his smile behind his hand. Chapter 4. The Room Explodes. Paulo continued, his confidence now bursting through. He talked about culture shocks in London, about how he couldn't understand accents, about buying fish and chips and asking for rice. When I asked for rice, the man looked at me like I asked for spaceship. The audience was in tears of laughter. Even Melanie and David were bent over, wiping their eyes. Samuel was laughing, really laughing now. He tried to keep composure, but Paolo's mix of innocence and wit was unstoppable. "Sir, you are laughing too much," Paolo teased mid-act, pointing toward Samuel. "You look like you don't want to laugh, but your face betrays you." The audience screamed in delight. Samuel, shaking his head, clapped the table. "I can't believe this," he said between laughs. "You're ridiculous." Paolo bowed dramatically. "Thank you, sir. In my country, that is a compliment." Laughter erupted again, echoing across the hall. The camera zoomed in on Samuel's face, his usual stone-cold expression gone. He was red, eyes glistening with tears of laughter. Paolo's routine lasted 5 minutes, but it felt like an unforgettable joyride. As he ended with, "If I don't win, it's okay. I will tell my mother, Mama, I made British people laugh. And she will say, good, now come home and wash the dishes." The hall exploded into applause. Standing ovation, cheers. The judges were on their feet. Chapter 5, The Aftermath. Samuel Crow wiped his eyes, trying to regain composure. "Paolo," he said between breaths, "I, honestly, haven't laughed that hard in years." The crowd cheered wildly. He continued, "Comedy is difficult. Most comedians walk out here and die on this stage. You, my friend, came here and brought something completely refreshing. You made us laugh with you, not at you." Paolo smiled, tears welling in his eyes. "Thank you, sir. I only wanted to share happiness." Melanie clapped. "You are adorable, hilarious, and authentic. I think everyone here has fallen in love with you." David leaned into the mic. "You're what comedy's all about, mate, heart, timing, and guts. I'd watch your Netflix special right now." Then Samuel reached for his buzzer. With a smirk, he pressed the golden button. Golden confetti rained from the ceiling. The crowd went berserk. Paolo froze, eyes wide. He had seen this moment on TV hundreds of times, but never imagined it would happen to him. He covered his mouth, falling to his knees as the glitter fell over him. "Oh my God," he whispered. "Mama, we did it." Chapter 6. Viral around the world. The next morning, clips of his performance were everywhere. Filipino comedian makes toughest judge laugh till he cries. Golden buzzer moment leaves audience in tears. Paolo's phone exploded with messages from friends, journalists, and even his old boss at the tricycle terminal. In the Philippines, his mother sat in their small living room, surrounded by neighbors, watching the replay on a flickering TV. "Anak ko, yan," she cried proudly, wiping her eyes. "That's my son." By the end of the week, Paolo's video had over 100 million views. Memes, fan pages, and interviews flooded the internet. He was suddenly a household name. Chapter 7. The Finals. Weeks later, Paolo returned for the finals. This time, the pressure was 10 times greater. He stood backstage, holding a rosary his mother had sent him. His confidence had grown, but so had the stakes. He wasn't just performing for laughs anymore, he was representing millions who saw themselves in him. When he stepped on stage, the crowd greeted him like an old friend. "Paolo," Melanie called out, "how are you feeling?" "Nervous, but happy," he said with a grin. "Last time, I made Samuel laugh. Tonight, maybe I make him cry." The crowd laughed. Samuel smirked. "Good luck with that." The lights dimmed. Paolo began, this time mixing humor with heart. He talked about his mother, his struggles, and what it meant to dream from a small place. "You know, when you grow up poor, your dreams are not like, I want to be a star. They are like, I hope electricity comes back before dinner. But my mama, she taught me to laugh anyway." Tears and laughter mingled in the audience. Paolo had mastered the balance between comedy and emotion. He ended his set by looking directly at the camera. To everyone watching from small homes, don't be shy to dream. Even if your microphone is broken, your voice still matters. The audience stood again, clapping, cheering, crying. Samuel didn't laugh this time, he just smiled, eyes glistening. "Paolo," he said softly, "you've done something truly rare. You've turned laughter into light. You made the world feel smaller, in the best way." Chapter 8. The Journey Home. Paolo didn't win the grand prize that season. But when he flew back to Manila, thousands greeted him at the airport, waving flags and banners that read, "We're proud of you, Paolo." His mother hugged him tightly, sobbing. "You did it, Anak. You showed them our heart." He grinned, handing her a souvenir. "Here, Ma, This is from London. She looked at it, a small snow globe with a tiny stage inside. Someday, she said, we'll have your own show here. And she was right. Within months, Paolo had his own comedy special. It aired on television across Asia, titled, Laugh Anyway. The proceeds helped rebuild their house, sponsor scholarships, and fund a small foundation for young comedians from poor backgrounds. When asked in an interview what he remembered most from the show, Paolo smiled. The laughter, he said. Especially the one I never thought I'd hear, from the scariest judge in the world. Chapter 9. 1 year later. Exactly a year after that unforgettable night, Paolo was invited back to World's Got Talent, this time, as a guest performer. Backstage, he saw Samuel again. The judge looked up and grinned. Ah, my favorite comedian. Ready to make me laugh again. Paolo chuckled. Maybe this time, I'll make you sing. Oh, please don't, Samuel deadpanned, and they both burst into laughter. As Paolo walked onto the stage, the audience rose in applause before he even spoke. He raised his microphone and said, I used to think laughter was just about jokes. But now I know, it's about connection. You don't need perfect English or fancy clothes to make people smile. You just need truth. He paused, smiling warmly. Laughter is universal, and sometimes, it's the only thing poor people can afford, but it's also the richest thing we can give. The crowd erupted once more. Samuel stood and clapped, this time not as a judge, but as a fan. Epilogue. In the end, Paolo's story wasn't about comedy, it was about courage, humility, and the power of joy. He had walked onto that stage as a poor Filipino comedian, trembling and uncertain. But he walked off as a symbol of hope. Years later, he would say in an interview, I thought the goal was to make people laugh. But the real magic was making them feel. Even the coldest heart can melt with one honest laugh. And somewhere in London, Samuel Crowe, the judge who never laughs, would smile at the memory, shaking his head. That boy, he'd mutter with a grin, was truly unforgettable.